Welcome to Dose.
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 Wow.
Season Dose.
Episode dose.
Right. You're catching on. So real fast, I just want to address, because, we have people that are watching and listening all over the planet.
Yeah.
Right. From near and far.
Right.
We're recording this, and today is the 29th of December.
Yes.
So this will go out just a few weeks from now. But I just want people to realize that our weather here in East Tennessee, yesterday, I was comfortably in shorts and a t-shirt.
Right.
Right? I was outside doing a little work, right? Now, this morning you get up and it's like 32 degrees with 20-mile-an-hour winds, which like the wind chill's going to be to 10 by the time we go home this afternoon.
That's exactly right.
But yesterday we were in shorts and a t-shirt. So just, yeah.
Thanks, Northeast Tennessee.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
Welcome winter.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I don't actually, I take that back. I don't think I'm looking forward to this one. Just because it's going to be a heavier topic. And we might actually get ourselves in trouble.
Well, it won't be the first time.
Also true. Plus, I'm still dealing with a cough. And so I'm going to try and...
go without coughing?
Well, that's not going to happen.
No?
But I'm going to try and cough strategically.
Okay.
So I can edit it slightly easier.
Okay.
No promises. So.
Try to wait until you end your thought and then cough.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah, so today's topic is going to be a bit heavy because we're going to be talking about anxiety and worry, which is a lovely topic. A lovely topic.
I already have anxiety just thinking about this.
All right, so I know you're not much of a movie buff, but have you ever watched the movie Inside Out?
I have not.
You have not?
No.
So I've seen Inside Out, but I have not seen Inside Out 2.
Okay.
So Inside Out and Inside Out 2, that is a Disney movie.
Sure.
And the idea, I guess, behind it is that the movie is about the emotions that people have, and they're depicted by different characters.
Okay.
Inside Out, the first one I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. But like I said, I haven't seen the second one. But I was doing some research on Inside Out 2, and they introduced a few new characters. They introduced boredom.
Okay.
They introduced embarrassment, and they introduced our topic for today, anxiety.
What are these characters?
What do you mean, what are they?
Like a character boredom, what is it? Is it a
I don't
person
know.
or a
it looks
animal
it looks like an emo guy with long hair, and he just like
Careful.
lays around and acts
Okay.
bored all the time.
Oh,
Yeah. Embarrassment looks like almost like a hippo and an elephant kind of combined with a really, really big nose, but it's always scared. And then anxiety looks frazzled. Like anxiety looks different than everybody else. It's like an orange character, and he's got like crazy hair,
All right. Yeah.
big eyes, and he always looks like
yeah. Like he's had a little too much caffeine?
yeah, just
Okay.
about.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, maybe the character is pretty appropriate. But anyways, I thought it was interesting because in Inside Out 2, the main character, I guess that the story is about, I guess the human character, not the emotional character, is a girl by the name of Riley Anderson. And in Inside Out 2, she turns 13, so she enters her teenage years. And so as she turns 13, this is where some of these new emotions are introduced, like boredom and embarrassment and anxiety. And I thought that's interesting because from a developmental standpoint, Disney is taking it, and in this chapter of this girl's life, these emotions are coming up. Because Riley struggles with anxiety specifically in this movie, and in particular, she has like panic attacks and that kind of stuff in it. But I think it's interesting because they do that as Riley is entering her teenage years. Almost like when you're a teenager, you are going to deal with anxiety more and more and more. I think when you look at the statistics, which we'll get to a little bit later, you see a dramatic increase in levels of anxiety, depression, and suicide rates with the teenage years.
Yes.
As I was doing some research, I found this clip where Riley has a panic attack. Right, you can go to YouTube and just kind of look it up, Inside Out 2 panic attack or something like that, and you'll find it. But then I started reading through the comments underneath, and the amount of comments from people who struggle with anxiety was like off the charts. And
They're
to me,
relating to that.
relating to it, like, oh, this is exactly how it feels. Oh, like I almost had a panic attack watching her have a panic attack. Like this kind of stuff. And truly what it shows me is that Well, anxiety, like that is a huge issue in our society. Like it's an epidemic, right? And in fact, it's getting worse and worse and worse every single year. Because now we kind of look at it and we kind of view it as a mental health issue.
Yes.
The title of today's episode is called "Consider the Ravens" because we're going to be looking into Luke chapter 12 and what the Bible talks about anxiety. And so I thought we should just take some time to talk about anxiety, depression, suicide a little bit, the fact that it is an actual epidemic in our society, and what that kind of looks like.
So the research shows that anxiety just over the last decade has just gone haywire, just skyrocketed.
Yep.
And sometimes, it's my own opinion, sometimes I wonder if our just where we're going to get in trouble, if our doctors and our drug companies are helping with that, because of revenue and profits. And so, is everybody have that much anxiety, or do is everybody suffering from that much anxiety, that much depression, that they have to be the doctor, they got to be on medications? Is it more forced on them? Because if you go to the doctor, most people, if they go to a doctor for some issue and the doctor comes up with their diagnosis, you take that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if sometimes that this is just put upon people, and now they're like, "Oh my word! Now I really do have I have anxiety.
Yeah.
I am depressed. I am this. I'm taking medication for." Yikes!
Yeah. And again, I think this is where we're going to get in trouble because
And I'm not belittling anybody that hasn't, because
Right.
I have anxiety. Like if you told me I had to go get on a roller coaster or I had to go ride on a bus somewhere, I would have a panic attack and probably just rather die than have to do any of those things. So I do understand it, but I think there's times that maybe,
Yeah, I do think that there are people who legitimately struggle with anxiety and worry and those kind of things, for sure. I would argue, I don't believe that the majority of them are like chemical imbalance kind of disorder. And again, we'll talk about this a little bit later. Ultimately, I believe it's a spiritual issue.
Sure.
I think if we look at it from a biblical worldview, anxiety and worry, ultimately, it's a spiritual issue. And so, one, I think it's overly diagnosed.
Yeah.
Right. Two, I do think there's a problem in our society when we look at pharmaceuticals, doctors, the medical field, and those kind of things, and how quick we are to diagnose and prescribe meds. Right.
Sure.
But I also think it's a parenting issue.
Oh boy, here we go. Katie, bar the door.
Uh-oh. But I do. I think it's a parenting issue because that, to me, I think, one, it's the adults aren't able to handle the anxiety that they already have, right? And then they have a tendency to pass that
down
on to their children, and they're not able to parent their kids through their anxiety.
I want to be clear, too, that it's not like we're saying, oh, we, Derrick and I, we have this mastered. We never worry. We don't have anxiety. We never have a concern in our life. No.
Right.
We do have concern in our life. We do worry. I'll speak for myself. I do worry, and I do have anxiety about things. I don't have to take medication for them because I think, too, some of the best treatment is, let's go back to the Bible and what Scripture says about it. And as we were studying and doing some notes for this, I'm just like, we're so foolish at times about the things that we get concerned with and we worry about and we lose sleep over. It's like, look back at the Bible real quick and it's, whew,
I agree. I'm just thinking about just seeing the increase of kids who are on meds for anxiety, right? Who can't go to sleep because their minds are constantly going, like all these other things, like even here at camp, the amount of meds that come through here, I mean, we're like a Walgreens during the summer. It is, sometimes it's unbelievable. And I'm starting going, why are you on this? You're so young. Like, what in the world is going on in your life?
They're bringing like Ziploc bags full of prescription medicine bottles. It's like,
and there's times where I'm like, what exactly is going on in your life as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, even a 14, 15-year-old?
Right.
Like, what is so unbearable in your life that you have to take so many meds just to be able to get through the day? But again, I think that's just where you see there is this continual increase of this issue in our society, right? And it's not just it's not just in the secular world. Like, I mean, we've got Christian kids coming to camp, church
and they're good kids.
And they're good kids.
Good kids, sweet kids, well behaved,
goodness.
99% of the time, but they come with this bag of medication.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know some parent is going to have an issue. Somebody's going to be upset with this. Well, my kid, we understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like so much of this is pushed on us and pressed upon us when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah. And I would argue too, I think from a med standpoint, we're going to get so in trouble in this episode.
That's okay.
I do believe that
know our heart.
The medication fix is just a Band-Aid, because we're not willing to put the time and effort and work into
what the root of the problem is.
Exactly, dealing with the root of the issue. And so we're like, oh, well, you struggle with this. Here, pop this pill. All right. And it gets me through that specific scenario.
Yeah, right.
And again, I do believe that there are people who legitimately struggle with this, but at the core, I believe it is a spiritual problem that needs to be addressed. And so again, like you see this increase in our society, and now there are like 7 main anxiety disorders that are out there. We're probably not going to go through all of them. You can research yourself. I've seen some lists that have like 12 and 15, but I think generally recognized, you've got 7 of them. And they're going to range anything from, I'm really just kind of worry about everything most days.
The whole day is a worry.
The entire day is a day of worry. I think that's called generalized anxiety disorder. It's just general anxiety. This is just who I am every single day. But then it goes into stuff like, panic disorders, and that's where your panic attacks really come in.
Right.
The people who all of a sudden they start to have a panic attack, hyperventilate, you got to get them a brown bag to blow into, like that kind of a deal. All the way into like phobias.
Right.
And I mean, there's
the phobias.
There's
never
an endless
ends, right?
list of phobias.
Yeah.
Like roller coasters.
Yes.
For example,
Or public transit.
Oh, yes. Or speaking.
Yes.
But having to be like social anxiety disorder.
Yes.
I think that's another one too. Like I have to be around people and it makes me anxious. I just don't like being around people.
Yeah, they don't make me anxious.
They don't make me anxious. No. I just don't.
I don't need to take any medication for it. I just don't want to be around. That's bad.
Nah, but it's true. But then you've got other things that kind of relate to that, like OCD.
Right. Oh, I was going to jump back to separation anxiety. Right.
Oh yeah.
Even our dog literally has separation anxiety. If his mother leaves, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
It's a spiritual issue with the dog.
Yeah, and I've tried to work through it with him, and we've read the Bible together, but he doesn't grasp it. But yeah, like if Danielle goes away, like if she goes to visit the kids or something for a day or two or whatever, that dog, he can't eat. He's like, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
It's like, get over it.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, she'll be back.
You're a dog.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's still humans here.
Right.
Your food's here. Your house is here.
Yeah. But you're right. I like separation anxiety.
Yeah.
There are people who struggle with that for sure.
Yep.
And so, like I said, like there's other things. I think they're called comorbid, which is, that's a fantastic word. But basically, it's things that because you've got this, you've also got these other things too. And that's where you get like adult ADHD. That's where you get one of my favorite ones was irritable bowel syndrome. I just feel like that's just every day.
Let's be careful when we talk about that. Okay. Yeah.
It's close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bipolar
disorder.
Bipolar.
Eating disorders. That's a big one.
Yeah, I have one. Thank you.
Because I'm anxious and I'm worrying about everything.
I'm going to eat.
I'm either going to eat
or I'm not going to eat.
Or I'm not going to eat.
So Danielle will tell you, when we have 2 kids, and when we were in the hospital and she was going to be giving birth to the children, I would eat like a truck driver.
Would you really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'd bring in the meal and she's like, whatever. She the look at food made her sick. I'm like, oh, I'll eat that. Oh, I'm going to go down to the cafeteria. So and so is coming to visit. Can you bring me something to eat? I constantly ate the whole time.
Oh wow.
I guess because of my anxiety of the
stress
child
eating.
And the stress,
Yep.
I just went ahead and ate, and it was like comfort to me.
It's kind of like some people. Like I know some people who like stress eat ice cream.
Amen. Yes. So some of these other things like headaches and a sleep disorder.
Especially like headaches, I definitely can like tie into like stress. Like you start getting it up your neck.
Yes.
You start feeling in your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things. All of those are byproducts, or I guess comorbid,
of
to anxiety and worry. And stress and those kind of things, and even substance abuse. People will start going towards drugs, those kind of things. Especially in this region, you've got opioids that's really, really big. Or, take even like antidepressants. People are going to go on those on a regular basis, and then they become addicted to them, all because of stress, anxiety,
and worry.
And so you've got something like anxiety, which is going to lead into things like depression, which when this episode drops,
okay,
this is it's supposed to drop on January 23rd.
23rd, yep.
Right?
Yep.
We will be 4 days removed from what is called Blue Monday.
Blue's Clues?
Not Blue's Clues,
Okay.
no, Blue Monday, which
Okay.
is considered to be the most depressing day of the year.
I'm going to argue that. Just for the
Okay.
date, for January 19th.
Why?
I don't think we're far enough into winter yet to be that depressed. I know you've done the study.
It may depend on where you live.
Maybe where you live. For here, Northeast Tennessee, I'm going to push it out to like maybe February 19th.
Wow, that's pretty far.
I know, but that's when I start getting my Blue Monday. Like early mid February, it's like I'm about ready to see a green leaf somewhere.
Well, I think one of the reasons why they put it in January 19th is because January itself is considered like the most depressing month of the year.
Well, that's just because your credit card statements arrived from Christmas.
That is one reason.
Right?
Yes. I think also in January, that's where you have, was it like the seasonal, what's that called?
Flu?
No, it's like because it's always gray
Yes.
and dark or whatever it is, you don't get nearly as much sunlight, and so like you have like this seasonal depression,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I think that's also part of why that because January is actually they refer to it as the Monday of months, and so that's why I think they have Blue Monday in January because all that kind of ties together.
All right. I mean, I got it, but for me, it's February.
I guess I just look at it and I think, okay, if January 19th is considered nationally, maybe even globally, I don't know, the most depressing day of the year, those of you who are listening to this episode, congratulations.
You've made it.
You have survived Blue Monday.
Yep.
Kudos to you.
Go back to that for a minute.
Right.
So we've got this deal, Blue Monday, January 19th.
Yep.
So now I feel like I'm going to be forced
To be depressed.
and anxious
that day.
and depressed and just horrible feeling
Yep.
on that day. Because
Yeah.
you have to.
Because what if it's sunny and 75 outside?
What happens if it was like yesterday, which it was sunny and it was like 70 degrees.
Why do I have to be
with
depressed
a
on
slight
that day?
breeze? Yeah.
Right. I agree. But yeah, it's almost like that's the day.
Now I
Everybody
feel like
be
I have
depressed
to.
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I think, well, I don't think, I know because statistics show like there is an increase in depression.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is stress, worry, depression, anxiety disorders, those types of things. It's not focused on just one particular age group. Like Inside Out was, okay, this girl is turning
Teenager.
13. She's now a teenager. But when you look at the statistics, you actually see an increase in pretty much every age group that's out there. Whether it's in young adults under 30, whether it's high schoolers, Gen Z, like it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, that kind of stuff. We're seeing a continual rise, right, in these things, which is a problem. And then that depression will ultimately, if it's not dealt with, has potential to lead towards suicide. And you've got an increase in suicide rates as well. And again, not particular to any one age group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a wide range of ages. And going back to with that anxiety and driving a higher suicide rate, I don't know if you saw in the news, but just the other day here in our area, just here over on the interstate, there was a young lady who was standing on the wall edge of a bridge right here on the interstate, on Interstate 81,
Really?
and was going to jump off that bridge. And people have saw her, and a bunch of rescue and different things had arrived, and they were actually able to talk to her where they could actually grab her off of the wall. So you wonder like what drives somebody to that point.
Yeah. And again, I think there's so many different things that take place in people's lives, and again, you said that was what, last week?
Just within the last week.
Okay, which, again, statistically, you see like this is the most depressing time of year, post-holiday,
right?
or around the holidays,
around
because
holiday.
This season isn't always
holly and jolly.
Yeah. It's sometimes for some people this is a really hard season for a multitude of reasons. And so so again, like getting back to just the idea of anxiety, stress, depression, ultimately can lead to things like suicide, and again, we see a continual increase of that when not even just thinking about it, but actually attempting it, and that's why, again, I think we just kind of go back to anxiety is an epidemic in our society and in our world, right? It's not just a localized thing. It's not just here and there. It's not just every once in a while. This is an epidemic that's getting worse.
It's everywhere all the time.
Yeah. The government is always looking for ways to tax our hard-earned money and investments. One of the ways they like to take our money is through capital gains taxes. This is where the government taxes our profits from smart investments that we make through the stock market, the selling of real estate, and other valuable property. But what if I told you that there was a way to escape some of these taxes? Instead of giving some of the profits to the government, why not give it to a ministry that you love? That's right. You can avoid some capital gains taxes by donating stock that has increased in value to a nonprofit organization. Many donors have found that this is an easy way to increase their donation while helping themselves at tax time. Stock Donator is a great organization that makes your stock donations to nonprofits as easy as pie. Simply go to stockdonator.com and follow the online prompts to donate your stock to Bancroft today and help support the ministry that you love. Visit Stock Donator today and make a lasting contribution to the ministry. Looking for an easy and economical way to partner with Bancroft? For cheaper than a movie ticket, a Disney Plus Hulu subscription, and a meal at Chick-fil-A, you can make an eternal impact for just $10 a month. For only $10 a month, you become part of an alliance of financial supporters who are providing for the financial needs of the ministry. I know that $10 doesn't really seem like a lot of money, but it's a donation that everyone is able to participate in. Whether you're on a fixed budget, a child using birthday money, everyone is able to find $10 a month to donate. You probably can even find $10 in the cushions of your couch. It's as easy as replacing one fast food meal a month, or replacing 1 or 2 cups of coffee a month. For students, maybe just wash one car a month. Maybe for students, make this your birthday or Christmas present. No matter how big or how small, young or old, everyone can participate in $10 a month. And every little bit helps fund everything we do here at Bancroft throughout the year. Head on over to BancroftGospelMinistry.org, click on any of the donate buttons throughout the website, and sign up for our $10 a month club. Make sure to click to make it reoccurring so you never miss a month to partner with us. I think you asked just a minute, like, why? Like, why?
What gets you there?
Yeah, what gets you there, and why is there such an increase? I think we can look at it kind of scientifically. I think we can look at it scientifically, and I think we can look at it practically.
Okay.
Right? And so with all the research that's been done, scientifically, they kind of look at it and just say, okay, whenever COVID-19 hit and we had to kind of go through that season, we saw an increase in all that. Right. The problem is that we're really not seeing much of a decline out of it. Right. And that's one of the issues, that the rates of anxiety and depression in youth and just in people in general surged during COVID-19, mainly because, well, I mean, everybody's stuck.
Yeah.
Couldn't
go anywhere, couldn't do
anything.
Social,
the constant stress of,
yeah.
If I do, am I going to die?
Yeah.
Right. All that kind of stuff. Then you got the vaccines that were coming out. Should I take it? Should I not? If I don't, am I going to
mask?
Like all those different things. You see that increase. And then I just think, again, and we kind of touched on this earlier, you see a rising diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
It's being diagnosed more and more and more. I would argue overly diagnosed.
Yeah.
You
go back to thinking we have some years between us, but back in school, you might have went down and took medication because you had a cough.
Yeah.
Like your mom sent in cough syrup.
Right.
But you never went down. I never remember kids going down to the what they call it, the clinic.
Yeah, the nurse's station.
The nurse's
or something
station.
like that,
Yeah, I never remember kids going down there to take daily medications because of anxiety and worry and stress and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, as today, like we see here at camp when they're bringing in these Ziploc bags full of stuff.
Yeah.
It just boggles my mind.
Yeah, I agree. And then you got things too, which I think is not only scientific, but I would also argue practical, is just the social media and isolation. I think you saw that a lot,
Yes.
during COVID for sure, but even more so. I mean, my goodness, people are on their phones all the time on various forms of social media, right?
Right.
And so then, let's just go teenagers, for example. And I guess let's go back to, Inside Out.
Right.
She's 13. Okay, she's going to be, maybe, I haven't seen the movie, but a lot of teenagers are more involved on social media.
Sure.
They're seeing things that they shouldn't
Should
see.
be seen.
They're seeing things that's causing them to compare themselves to other things.
Right.
And so now they're seeing this lack.
And then I believe that too much of that social media at a young age also, it pushes them into the social anxiety, because when I'm on social media, I'm by myself usually on my phone,
Right.
and I'm talking to one or two people, or I'm just looking. I'm not having any contact, like direct contact with humans
Sure.
when I'm doing that. But now, so I spend all this time on my phone doing this. Now when I get out into, I don't want to say the real world, but the real world,
Yeah.
and there's actually humans, now I'm like, oh no, I don't know how to act.
I don't know how to interact with
I
you.
can't socialize with these people because I don't know how.
Yep.
Because I'm constantly behind a screen socializing.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a problem.
It is.
And so the other thing too, I think one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of this increase is because of increased screening. They're doing that a lot now too. There's more and more recommendations to, hey, have your kids screened for anxiety disorders or stress disorder or depression, all that kind of stuff. And so because there's a higher rate of screening, now there's going to be a higher rate of diagnosis and a higher rate of medication distribution,
Yeah.
I think NBC, was it NBC? Yeah, NBC News actually noted that even kids as young as 8 years old are getting screened for anxiety disorder. 8 years old.
What when you were 8, what were you worried and anxious about? Can you remember?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think I was anxious about much of anything.
I mean, can't think of anything I worried about when I was 8 years old.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, my parents got divorced when I was 9.
Yeah.
My parents didn't take me to get screened for anxiety disorders
Right.
after that. They were just like, this is life.
This is how it's
we're going to
working.
work through it.
We're going to make
Let's
it.
keep
We're gonna
moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, so then, in the research for this, I found something that was pretty interesting. The Florida Program for Behavioral Health Improvements and Solutions.
Woo.
That's pretty solid. So anyways, FloridaBHCenter.org. Okay. They actually put together a comprehensive assessment and plan with an anxiety scale for children 6 years old and younger. Okay, like NBC talked about 8 years old.
Good.
These people from Florida are doing it 6 years old and younger.
Something wrong with them Floridians.
And they can't even argue for seasonal depression. I mean, it's
I was going to say that earlier.
beautiful down there all the time.
I'm like, and so being a Floridian, like all those that are listening and watching from Florida, what are you depressed about come January the 19th?
Yeah, for real.
What is it? 75, breezy, and the sun is shining. Sounds pretty depressing. Yeah, just being funny. But yeah, so under the age of 6.
Isn't that crazy? And there's even one part in that comprehensive assessment that actually references kids who are less than 4 years old.
Come on. Again, I don't want somebody to think that we're belittling or we're making fun or we're taking lightly, but I mean, can a 4-year-old spell the word anxiety, stress, or worry?
You can't even spell
I can't.
anxiety.
And I'm well over 4, well over 40. But really?
Yeah. And see, and this is where, again, I go back to some of the stuff that we talked about before, which we're going to get in trouble for.
Yeah.
Some of this, especially when you're looking at screening for 4, 6, and 8-year-old kids, the issue's not the kid.
No, it's not.
The issue's the parent.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Here, the phone's ringing. I hear it out there. But you're right. You're so right. It just simply, if you have a 4-year-old that is, quote unquote, dealing with anxiety and stress, which, I mean, okay, they get upset, right? I mean, your kids come in, they're 4, 5, 6 years old, they're upset about something, they're concerned, they may be worried about something, but I think as a parent, I could also put my arm around them, sit them down, and just explain to them what's going on, how this is going to happen, how what's taking place, how we're going to work through this, how we're going to make it through this.
Right.
And then I could also turn and grab my Bible and say, look at what Jesus says about this. That's what the Lord says about this. The birds outside the window, they're not concerned of where they're going to eat and where they're going to live. I'm kind of jumping forward, but for a child, we can work through that with them.
Yep.
So if the bird has no worry, and we're so much more important to the Lord than a bird, so then why should we be so worried about it?
And even more so, I think, from a Christian parent household, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Like, you can make the argument from a family where the parents are unbelievers. Okay, that's going to be difficult maybe to do. From a Christian family perspective, can you just be a parent?
Yeah. Now, is this a homeschool Christian family? No, I'm kidding. But even go back to even the non-Christian family. I mean, you could still, obviously you're not going to turn to the Bible because maybe that's just not where you're at in life. Sure. But you can still sit little Johnny down and just explain and walk through this with him.
Like, hey, this is life.
And use some examples. And this is life, and this is what happens. And many people have gone through this. That's the other thing with all these things. You're not the only one that's ever gone through this.
That's good.
There are lots of people that have gone through these things that have made it through it, bettered themselves through it. Yeah. I get all worked up. I need a drink.
You need a drink.
I'm getting anxious.
So I think when we look at why the increase, there's a scientific aspect I think that we can look at, and why. But I think even from a practical standpoint, I think we can see some things as well. Yeah. One of those, I think, is so many people wrestle and struggle with the what if issue.
Right. What ifers.
Yeah, the what ifers.
Yeah, what if.
Yeah. What if this was going to happen? What if this was going to happen? What if this was going to happen? There's a movie based on a series of books called A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Okay.
The movie's a lot of fun to watch.
You watch a lot of movies.
Probably more than I should. But I really like it. But anyways, in it, it's really about 3 orphan kids.
Okay.
Okay. And they're trying to, I guess, find who are we going to live with now? And so it keeps getting passed through different members of the family. One of the members is a lady by the name of Aunt Josephine. Okay.
She was a blast.
She was fantastic. In the movie, I think she actually played by Meryl Streep. But Aunt Josephine worries about everything. She's got every phobia you can possibly think of. She's got general anxiety disorder.
Okay.
She's got it all. But it's hilarious in how she dialogues with these kids on certain things. So when they first meet, the kids, go and knock on the door, and she opens the door, and she's real timid as she opens it because she's like, "Who's there?" But she's scared. All right. Then she realizes, okay, it's the orphan kids, and so that she starts talking to them, and so she wants to hurry and be like, "Okay, come on in. But then she's like, "But not too fast, because you could trip and decapitate yourself." And it's like, wow.
That's pretty extreme.
It's a bit extreme, Aunt Josephine. But that's what she was so concerned about. Then at one point, I think one of the kids were going to do something at the refrigerator. And she's like, well, don't get too close to the fridge because it could fall and smash you.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. And then she's talking about doorknobs, how they could explode and then, it could get in her eyes.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's all these different things that she's like, hey, don't do this, because what if this were to happen? And if it did happen,
you could decapitate yourself. So basically, don't have any fun ever because something terrible could happen.
But that's the thing. I think a lot of people struggle with the what if question. What if I ran out of gas? What if, you get in a wreck? What if my mom or dad loses their job? Right. What if this happens? The problem is that you really can't control a lot of those things.
And I think there's a high percentage of all those what if things that you get concerned with that don't ever happen to begin with.
No.
I want to say it's 90%. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. It's 90% of the things we're what ifing about are never going to occur.
No.
But we're we're weighing ourselves down with all this what if. And I told you this earlier. My great grandmother, who she was 91 in 1991, and that's when she passed away. And I just always remember that, 91 and 91. But she was deathly afraid of gypsies, literally gypsies. She always thought the gypsies were going to come and kidnap her.
Interesting.
Anyhow, that's where I must get it from. But yeah, she was. What if gypsies come and, well, like, have you seen on the news lately? Are there gypsies going around kidnapping people in our neighborhood?
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many gypsies around.
Yeah, but she was definitely afraid of that.
That's the thing. It's the fear that there's a possibility of something could happen.
Sure.
But yeah, so I think from a practical standpoint, I think we've got that issue of the what ifs, of the always being in fear of the remote possibility of something could happen.
Yeah.
Almost, it kind of reminds me of like Murphy's Law a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
that's old.
I know, right? You're welcome.
You know what? These kids these days don't even know what that is.
No. So like Murphy's Law is like if something's going to happen, it's going to.
It's gonna.
Yeah. But we always look at it as a negative. Mm-hmm. If worst case scenario.
Right.
And that's what's always going to take place. And so we got to prepare for that. We have to be cautious against worst case scenario. And so now we're always living, like we're walking on thin ice because we don't know what's going to happen. Right. But it's that fear
it's
of the it possibly could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if it does, it's going
to be horrible.
Drastic. From a practical standpoint, I think we've also got our aspect of circumstances. Like the circumstances that we find ourselves in, we get so caught up in them, right, that it creates an unrealistic sense of stress and anxiety.
I could do that sometimes.
Yeah, honest. I think you can.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it.
Good. Well, I'm glad I could be part of the plan here. But like it says, that worry and that stress and all that anxious, about all these different things, it's all outside of our control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things, that I think we need to think about is we worry. The majority, if not all of the things that we worry about things that are outside of our control. Because here's the thing, if I can control it, I can do something about it. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about it because, I can do something.
Right.
And I think that's an extremely important understanding when we think of stress, anxiety, and worry. Okay? The majority, if not all the time, we worry about things that are outside of our control. So let's take camp, for example. Okay,
it's outside of my control
because this is, but like we live this on a regular basis. So Bancroft is a faith-based ministry. Like we are trusting the Lord that He's going to provide all of our needs through whether it's churches or individuals, to meet those needs.
Right.
Whether that's financial, whether that's other things. Usually it's more financial than anything else. There are times where things get super tight. And we don't know where's the money coming from to be able to pay this bill or to do this project or to fix this, AC unit or whatever it might be, It is super easy, and I think we struggle with this. It is super easy to start to worry and to start to stress and to get a little anxious about, I don't know where this is coming from, But the problem is I can't control it. It doesn't matter how much work I do. It doesn't matter how much we promote. It doesn't matter how much whatever. At the end of the day, God is the one who's going to have to provide it. Right. And I'm not in control of how much somebody's going to give or whether somebody's going to give, right? We just have to trust the Lord that He's going to work in the hearts of people to do it.
Give, yeah.
And He's going to meet the needs, And so like we can get so worked up, myself included, get so worked up about the possibility, what if this doesn't happen, right? Kind of goes back to that. I'm looking at the circumstance and I'm struggling with it. I'm asking, what if the money doesn't come in to pay this bill? What am I going to do? And all that different stuff. And God's like, that's not even in your control. Let me handle it.
When we get to heaven, I'm hoping we could just have a few minutes and we could just sit with the Lord and say, hey, can you bring it up on the screen? Small screen, not the big screen.
Right.
Just a small one. I just want to see like those times when I was like that. It's all these things that are out of my control.
Yep.
And I'm just wired about them, right?
Yep.
And I want to see, okay, and the Lord shows us, okay, here's this instant, Derrick, when you were all wired up about this that you had no control over.
Yep.
And then I want Him to say what He was thinking while you're going through that. Okay, Derrick, and now here's the Lord saying, yeah, and I'm sitting up there thinking, if you would just relax and calm down.
Yep.
I feed the birds. Right, let's go back to the Bible. Hang on.
Yep.
Right? And I thought of this too. So when you're laying in bed at night, because that's when everything's wound down and it's quiet now, and that's usually when you can't fall asleep because you got 400 million things going through your mind. It's like I feel like I want to, after studying this, I want to make a list and go through. Okay, things I can control, things I can't control.
Yep.
Right, and write these down. All these things that are keeping me up at night, and be like, well, 90% of them are things I can't control.
Yep.
Good night.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, the one thing I can't control. Okay, tomorrow I'll make a phone call.
Exactly, and I'll take
go
care of
to
that.
bed. Thank you.
Yeah, and after I've made that phone call,
I'm done.
It's out of my hands.
Yeah, right.
What you just said is a great practical. Hey, here's a little tidbit for anybody who struggles with anxiety and stress and all that kind of stuff. Hey, maybe just do that today.
Yeah, jot it down.
Yeah, make your list. Because then you're going to realize, why am I worrying about all these things that I can't do anything about anyways? So I like that. That was really good. Have you taken the time to stop and consider how dirty your car is recently? During this time of year, as they salt the roads in preparation for the next wintry blizzard, your car gets coated with the salt that will eat away at your lovely paint job and ruin your car. But who wants to brave the cold to wash all of that unwelcome salt off your car? I know I don't. So why not drive down to your local True Shine car wash and purchase a wash, all while supporting your local ministry? Now through February 15th, you can support Bancroft by simply getting your car washed, which you have to do anyways. So head to any of the 7 True Shine locations, pull up to one of the pay stations, follow the screen prompts to buy a single wash, push the Enter Wash Code button at the bottom left of the screen, and be sure to enter the code 14140. That's 14140 to send some funds to Bancroft. It's really as simple as that. So head over to True Shine today and support Bancroft by getting your car washed in the warm, dry comfort of your car. Okay, so let's do this. Let's jump to what does the Bible actually say about anxiety? I mean, we can talk about, health effects of stress and worry, which we already have. We can talk about the statistics. But at the end of the day, what do we do about it? Mm-hmm. What does the Bible actually say about it? And how can we address the big issue, right? So I had mentioned earlier that we were going to focus on Luke chapter 12, which I'm sure a lot of people are probably familiar with this passage. For sure. Luke chapter 12, I'm just going to read it, and then let's just kind of talk about it. Okay. That way everybody just kind of has it.
A little bit of it in their mind.
Exactly. All right. So Luke chapter 12, starting in verse 22, it says this. And he, being Jesus, said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? If then you're not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? And do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things will be added to you." All right, so God's going to take care of the ravens. Mm-hmm. He's going to take care of the lilies. He's going to handle all that different stuff.
You think he's going to take care of you?
Yeah, don't you think you're more important than those things?
I love that little part in there where, let me see, where it says, the raven doesn't have, boy, I wish I could find it.
Storehouse nor barn.
A storehouse nor a barn.
Yep.
The Lord feeds them.
Yep.
Yeah, so I love that because it makes you think. I got a great picture as you were reading that in my mind of this, of us humans. And we have all this stuff that we accumulate. We accumulate because we might need it, or let's accumulate it because we, it's running short, or this or that. The bird doesn't.
No.
This little bird, he doesn't have a place where he hauls all his. They have a little nest, but Lord, it's not a barn.
Sure.
Where the stuff, where it's not a storehouse. But he doesn't have a worry about that because he knows. Well, he knows that. Hey, there'll be food tomorrow.
Yeah.
There'll be food tomorrow.
Exactly.
There'll be a nest tomorrow. There'll be a little tree I can sit in tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he has no worry.
And I love the combination between the ravens and the lilies, because I think it addresses the things that we as humans worry about the most.
Yeah. The storehouse, also going back to that again, it reminds me of back to COVID and these different things that, when we were going to run out of toilet paper.
Oh, my.
And we were going to run out of this and we were going to run out of that.
Yep.
So as soon as, you let that out, hey, there's going to be a shortage on X.
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's now going to be a shortage because now everybody went out to get it because they brought it all back to their storehouse.
Yep.
Instead of being like, Lord, I mean, are you really going to allow us to run out of toilet paper? Like it's awful important.
Yeah.
Are we really forever? Like the toilet paper is going to be gone forever? No, you might go and it's a little short on the shelf, but next week the truck's going to come.
Yep.
Right. And then food, bread and the simple, like hurricane supply type stuff, bread and peanut butter and things like that. Is the Lord going to let you run out of bread?
Yeah.
And peanut butter?
Exactly.
It might be short. Again, you might go down there and the shelf's empty.
And again, I think
the truck comes next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
One of the things I think I like about this passage too, again, like thinking about, the ravens and the lilies, like he's addressing like the basic necessities of life, right? Like if God can handle the everyday basic necessities of life, I think he can handle pretty much everything else.
Yeah. It didn't even say anything about a car, a job.
No. But he goes, I'm going to take care of your needs.
Yeah.
Like I've got this stuff down. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love about this passage too is really, I think verse 29 and 30, where it says, do not seek what you are to eat, what you're to drink, nor be worried. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, because all the nations of the world seek after these things. The pagans, they worry about those things.
Right.
You who claim to follow me, you don't think like the pagans do. You're supposed to be trusting me and depending on me, believing that I'm going to meet all of your needs, which it says your Father knows that you need them.
Right.
He's like, I know what you need, and I'm going to take care of you. You just simply believe in me and trust me. And here's what's crazy about that. If we follow him and believe him and trust him like we're supposed to, now we're living lives where we don't worry, we don't stress, we don't have anxiety, and we're going to look completely different than the world around us.
Right. Yeah.
So now it's a testimony where the world's like, why are you guys not freaking out about this?
Right.
Well, because my Father in heaven knows that
He's got it.
Knows the needs that I have, and he's going to meet those. And so now, because of the way that we respond and the way that we handle those types of things in our lives, that's now light that we're shining to a dark and unbelieving world. That now we can just say, hey, I'm going to point you to Jesus, and your heavenly Father, because he knows what needs you have, and he's going to take care of you because he promises to do so.
That's really good.
And I love that.
Not that I'm going to remember this every time. I'm just saying, right? And not that any of us will, but it's such a great verse.
And I think too, and let's just be, we'll be honest and realistic. We can say this all day, and I know it's definitely easier said than done. Sure. Because we are going to find ourselves, because we're fallen, sinful human beings, we're going to find ourselves in situations where this is a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle for me to believe that you're going to take care of this need. You've taken care of all the other ones.
Yeah. But this one.
Right. I don't know if you can pull this one off this time.
Yeah.
Because we still struggle with it.
Just the whole verse sums up, and God takes care of the ravens, the birds, the animals, and he takes care of the lilies, the trees, the flowers, and all these things. Are you not more important than that?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we're going to have to consider, and this is going to be heavy, it's going to be a little hard maybe, okay, is that we need to understand that worry and anxiety, it's a sin. Like when we worry, when we live a life of worry and anxiety and those types of things, we're actually sinning as we're doing that, because we are told and commanded throughout Scripture not to worry. Like the Apostle Paul, Philippians chapter 4, very basic. Do not be anxious about anything. But in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And now, again, that's a hard saying, right? It's not an enjoyable thing to hear. But I think we have to be honest with ourselves, especially as believers, to say, when I'm living in a constant state of worry and stress, not even just when I'm living in a constant state, anytime that I worry and stress and I'm anxious, I'm sinning.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if I'm anxious and I'm worrying, ultimately that shows a lack of faith and belief in God. You know, when I worry, I'm not believing God. When I worry, I'm not trusting in Him.
When I worry, I have a lack of faith in Him.
Yeah. And when I'm worrying
I'm guilty.
And when I'm anxious, really, essentially what I'm doing is I'm depending on a false God, right, to meet my needs.
Right, instead of the one and true only God.
Right. So now my worry isn't just sinful because it's unbelief. It's now become sinful because, in a sense, there's an idolatry aspect to that because I'm putting my faith and trust in something other than God.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of times I'm putting my faith and trust in myself.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah. That I can handle it and I can do it.
But
then it goes back to, but you're not in control of it.
You sure? Because that's it too, right? There's times that we think, well, I'm in control.
I'm in control.
Yeah.
And God's like, no, actually
maybe
not.
not.
Because everything you're worrying about is outside of your control anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like that's a really hard thing. And again, we're sinful beings, you know? Like we're not going to live 100% of the time in 100% complete trust and dependence on God because we're sinful. Like that's where again, like we see that God's grace is sufficient. Like He knows, like He knows that we're weak. You know, He knows that we doubt. You know, and it makes me just want to go back and say the same thing. You know, that we see in the New Testament of the guy who goes to Jesus asking for healing, I think for his daughter, and Jesus is like, "Do you believe?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I believe. Help my unbelief." You know,
That's
because
good.
like God, I believe that you can handle this. I know that you're in control. I know that I know your promises that you say that you're going to meet my needs, but help my unbelief. And so like I think we have to realize as believers that worry and anxiety is a sin, but at the same time that God's grace is sufficient. You know, but I think we need to recognize that and repent from it, and just say, okay, I'm going to repent from my worry in this situation, in this circumstance, at this moment, or whatever it is, whatever's going on in my head. And I'm just going to put my faith back in Christ, you know, and in the promises that He gives us all the time.
This year, through both our retreats and camps, enter a world of dragons, knights, wizards, and so much more as we dive into the reality of spiritual warfare. In the spring, our theme will be Friend and Fiend. Every battle has an enemy to be defended against, fought, and to be defeated. Join us this spring as we expose and examine our enemy and his tactics and learn to rely on our friend and commander, Jesus. Then, in our epic summer camp, our theme is Battle Royale, and the battle is on. Embark on a fantastical journey next year as we armor up to fight against the cave trolls, orcs, goblins, and dragons of sin and temptation that wage war against us. Join us this summer as we examine and put on the armor of God and join the battle for the ages. Finally, in the fall, our theme will be Victorious. The objective in every battle is to win, but it doesn't always feel like we are winning. As we persevere in this epic spiritual battle, we need to be reminded that we already know how it ends. Join us this fall as we encourage one another with the truth that the Lord wants us to experience a victorious life, not only in this life, but for those in Christ, we will ultimately win in the next life. Visit our website at bancroftgospelministry.org today and register for our spring and fall retreats and our summer camp. It's going to be a fantastically epic year.
Avoiding anxiety. Like, what can we do to avoid anxiety, or at least to the best of our ability, right? I think the first thing we can do, which we've kind of talked to already, is just simply trust God.
Sure.
He tells us to, only faith can free us from anxiety, which is why I think Jesus in that parable says, "Oh, ye of little faith." Like, the reason why you're struggling with that stuff is because you have a lack of faith in me. You're not trusting in me. You're not depending on me.
It says worry is pointless because it doesn't fulfill any of your needs. The worrying doesn't help fill my need. The worrying doesn't
fix
take care of this problem.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
That worry, it's like this worry and this anxiety that I have, it just adds to this problem. Because a lot of times that worry and anxiety gets us in a not in the right mindset.
Sure.
To where we can't even think of a good way to take care of the problem or address the issue, because we're in this whole worry, anxiety mindset of, how'd you say that little, the movie?
Oh, yeah.
One of those. We're all caught up in it that we can't even get out of it to try to help ourselves at times.
Exactly. And again, I think with a lot of that, with that trust, again, it just goes back to, what has God said? He's told us that we're more important than ravens and lilies to him, right? Like, we're the apple of his eye, right? Like, he's promised that he's going to meet our needs over and over and over again. He's proven that he's going to meet our needs because he has proved himself to be faithful.
Right. Yeah.
We forget that he's met all these other needs because we get so focused. It kind of goes back to that circumstantial aspect, right? We get so focused on right now.
Yeah.
That we forget about, hey, this is everything that God has done in the past and how he's met every need over and over and over again.
He can and will do this again.
Yeah. Like, growing up after my parents got divorced, we struggled. I mean, we were pretty poor. We struggled with but the Lord met our needs on a regular basis.
Barbacups, is that what they were called?
We ain't talking about barbacups. All right. But
that's a shout out to your mom right there.
Shout out to my mom and my dad, who apparently loves the barbacups, which is strange as well.
Okay.
But we struggled financially for sure. I mean, my mom was working a full-time job, but she was raising 3 kids on her own.
Raising you by yourself would be enough. Did your mom struggle with anxiety? She should have.
If she did, she didn't show it too much. But I can remember so many times when we're sitting there like, oh man, like, we're going to get groceries. Do we have any food? And then all of a sudden we get a knock at the door, and we open the door, and there's a box of food, at our door. Yeah. But nobody's there.
That's crazy.
And man, I can't tell you how many times that happened.
That's so
cool. Honestly, it happened so much that to this day I cannot eat Trix cereal.
I was just gonna say that. And it was the cereal you wanted.
It started off to be the cereal I wanted.
But then
we had so much of it, and I'm like, I can't eat this stuff anymore.
That's crazy.
But again, it kind of goes back, and like, for me, like, I go back and I'm like, God provided for us over in miraculous ways. Why do I still doubt that now?
And two, in his providing at those times, sometimes it's even an overabundance of provision. Yeah. Right? To where, like you just said, we had so much Trix cereal. I don't know what Trix cereal is. I'm too old for that. But yeah, like, we had so much of it, or we had it so often. It's like, I don't even want to see that anymore. Yeah. But the Lord provided that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so again, it kind of goes back to, man, he has proven himself faithful so many times in our lives. And we still struggle with just trusting him. And he's like, just simply trust me. Yeah. That's all I need you to do. Just trust me, because I've promised you that I'm going to handle these things. Don't get so caught up in all this different stuff. Don't start to worry about it. There's no need to worry about it. I'm in control of it anyways. Yeah. Because again, I think when we go back, that, like, our struggle with worry and stress and anxiety is because we don't have a proper understanding of who God is. Is God truly sovereign? Yes. Yeah. He truly is in control of absolutely all things. Okay, good. Then trust him. Is our God good? Yes, he is. Okay, then we can trust him. Yeah. Does he know everything? Is he omniscient? Yes. He is. Okay, good. Well, then trust him. You know what I mean? And so, like, we have either a false understanding or a lack of understanding of who God is. Right? and not just who he is, but what he tells us in his word and his promises. And so because of those failures, that's why we struggle with worry and anxiety, which is why, again, when we go back to, okay, it's a parenting issue. It's ultimately a spiritual issue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The spiritual issue is we don't trust God and we don't believe that he is who he says he is and he's going to do what he says he's going to do. It's a parenting issue because as Christian parents, we don't come alongside of our kids
And explain this to them.
and walk them through
walk
that and
yeah.
show them and tell them about, hey, let me tell you who God is, you know?
And you, through saying that too with your children, let me tell you who God is. Let me tell you how he can. But let me also tell you and show you how he did supply.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, your kid is wound up in this and has anxiety and is stressed over whatever this is. And maybe they've overheard conversation between parents, the two parents. So now they're concerned about this. Maybe it's the way a bill or a food need or whatever it is. But let me show you how the Lord has taken care of this before.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And we're going to trust that he's going to take care of this again.
Yep. That's a great point.
So not just always looking at this is the problem, the Lord's going to take care of this problem, we're going to trust the Lord to take care of this problem, but let's look back with our children, especially the younger children, so they can get a great understanding of this before they become adults like us.
Yep.
Look at how the Lord's take care of this so many times over. Like, look how many times a box of food was sitting at the front door.
Yeah.
Who knows how it got there?
Yeah, man, that's such a great point. It's
and that was before like Grocery Dash or whatever these delivery services are, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So parents, tell the stories of God's faithfulness to your kids.
Yes.
Because that is going to be stories that they can kind of hide away, like in their hearts, and in their minds, and refer back to when they're struggling. Oh wow, hey, you know what? I don't know if God's going to help me, but you know what? I remember my mom or my dad told me about this.
That the Lord did
that
this.
happened. Like parents, be good parents and tell your kids about how God's been faithful to you, how he's met your needs.
I feel like we give a disclaimer that we are not the model parents. We are not, we were not, we will not be the model parent. I want to get that out there in case somebody's like, well,
just so you know,
we're not.
Yeah, we're speaking to the choir here.
Yeah,
like
right.
We got to work on it too.
I'm still a parent, but my kids are much older, so I'm like not parenting as much in a sense, like I'm like a semi-retired parent, but you'll always be a parent.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So in avoiding anxiety, first of all, simple trust in God. That's how you can kind of avoid that. Another one would be change your perspective.
Am I changing my look, my look at the problem? Does that might change the perspective? Like, hey, I'm looking at it from over here, like doom, gloom, horrific, terrible, trip and decapitate myself, like that movie, or am I looking from over here at it now and saying, oh no, the Lord's provided this time. He will provide, or he will take care of it again this time.
Sure. Yeah. So I think our problem is the perspective of the circumstance that we find ourselves in. But then also, how kind of going back to what God has done, So again, it's changing our perspective from the terrible bad that's taking place to, all right, am I in control of this? Have I done everything I know that I can do to kind of fix this? Has God, been faithful in the past, to kind of do
Has
whatever?
God been good in the past?
Exactly.
Is God still good? Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And that's all about changing our perspective, because we have to look at those kind of things.
So with that change of perspective and thinking through that, don't submit yourself to the circumstance or the problem or the worry or the anxiety, but to the Lord that controls that circumstance, that worry, that anxiety.
Well, that's good.
Right? Don't submit to that garbage, because just submit over here. The one who's in control of it all, the one that's never left us, the one that has always provided for us.
Right.
Submit to him, not to all this.
That's really good.
It's so easy, isn't it?
That's really good.
It is great, but it's not easy to do.
True. But and again, it goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier. The reason for the rise of increase is because we get so caught up in our circumstances.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
And so, man, I think that's such a great truth. Like, don't submit to the circumstances. Submit to the God who's in control of those circumstances. Because again, many times in the circumstances we find ourselves in, We're not in control
that
of
goes
them.
back to that list.
Yeah.
Of making that list of, hey, these are all my concerns and all my worries and all my anxieties. Well, all of these over here, I'm not even in control of them.
Yep.
Okay, these two, I am in control of those.
Yep.
But all these, I'm not.
Yeah, that's so good.
So just leave it.
And that reminds me of like when the disciples were in the boat with Jesus and the storm comes.
Yeah, I love this.
And they're freaking out and Jesus is sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, do you not realize that I'm with you? Like, you're getting so enamored, you know,
in the storm.
You're submitting to the storm
Yeah.
and to the circumstance that you've forgotten that I'm in the boat with you and I'm in control of the storm.
And that's true for today, although we just don't see him in our boat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, we're not going to, if I turn and see the Lord in my boat physically, I'm probably, that's going to cause a whole nother anxiety and worry. But he's not, we don't physically see him, but he is in our boat in that storm.
Yep. Exactly.
And we need to try to remind ourselves of that.
Yep.
So in 1 Peter 5:7, it's casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. It's such, I think we learned
so
that in like
simple.
second grade, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you just put everything on him because he cares for us.
Yep. Cast all your anxieties
on him.
Yeah. The thing that we're struggling with,
Yeah.
the thing that we're medicating ourselves for. God's like,
That was good.
why don't you just give it to me?
Yeah, that was good.
You know, stop taking the pills, stop medicating yourself over it, stop flipping out. How about you just give it to me?
See, I think, and going back to parenting, and that's where a parent, that's where you use that verse, and you teach your child about right there. You know, hey, we're going to stop taking this medication. We're going to stop. We're going to get in trouble. I'm telling you. But we're going to stop doing this and stop submitting to this.
Yep.
Because he cares for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to, it's not the doctor
Yeah.
that's caring for us.
No. He's caring for his pocket.
He's caring for the insurance company.
Yeah.
And the pharmaceutical company. Yeah, they're all caring.
Yep.
They're just caring people.
Yeah.
Because it brings a big paycheck. But just let's go to one that really cares for us.
That's so
right?
good, man.
Yeah,
That is so good.
And again, it sounds so good, but it's not that easy.
I agree. I agree.
But again, with parenting, with especially the younger kids, that young to the teenage years.
Yeah.
Just walk them through that. Like, hey, leave all that anxiety because the Lord cares for us.
Yeah, like none of those things are a big deal. Just give it to God.
And I'm not saying that some of these kids, especially ones that go to school, in that middle school and high school, with bullying, and that's all real stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's happening.
Yep.
But the Lord knows that.
Yeah.
And the Lord,
He knows. He's there.
He's
and
there
He cares.
and He cares.
So cast all your anxieties on Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. So then we've got the aspect of, like just simply trust God.
Yeah.
Right. Change your perspective. Cast all your cares on Him because He cares for you.
Yes.
Look to Him. And then I think thirdly, pray.
That's novel.
Surprise,
Right?
surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah. We referenced this verse earlier when we talked about how worry and anxiety is a sin, where the Apostle Paul says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. So what are we supposed to do? When we find ourselves in those situations, hey, why don't you just take a minute and pray about it?
Pray about it.
Pray about everything, because what's interesting is when we are praying to God about these types of things, essentially what we're saying is, you care about it, you're in control of it, you know it, and you can fix it.
Yeah. Now take it.
Yeah. Now here it is. And here's the thing: like whether it's casting all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you, or pray for everything, in all circumstances. Essentially, when we do that, really what we do is we just kind of let go of it, right? So now you've got the weight that's been bearing down on you, the anxiety and the depression and the stress should be lifted off, because now you've put all of that on Him.
Now, as good sinners, right?
We like to take it back.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
right where I was
yeah,
going.
yeah.
Is that we have to be cautious. We've given it. Now don't take it back.
Yep. Exactly.
Because the evil one is going to convince you that you need to take that back.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. But
That's
again,
good stuff.
but the command and the challenge there is to worry about nothing, pray about everything. You know, which if we would just get
that should be
into,
the bumper sticker. Worry about nothing, pray about everything. That's, you know?
but I think if we would get more of a habit of that, you know, instead of, you know, running to someone else or putting it all on ourselves or
Trying to figure all this out on my own.
right, trying to do all this other stuff. If we would just simply stop and just be like, okay, God, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Like I've done everything in my power. I've done everything in my control.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else to do. So it's on you. I'm casting it on you. I'm praying about it, trusting that you're going to take care of it. And guess what? He's going to.
Yeah.
Because he promises that he will, you know? So pray about it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, support team.
Yeah.
You know, find people around you to help you. You know, like if you struggle with anxiety and worry and stress, you know, if you struggle with trusting in God,
Yeah.
you know, you struggle with praying, you know, you struggle with those types of things, surround yourself with people who can encourage you to do those types of things.
That'll pray along with you.
Exactly.
You know, that'll check back up. We'll check in on you.
Yeah.
Just last week, we had gotten a message from an old friend of mine from years ago, and she had, and it was a day I wasn't in the best of moods, right? And I was a little down. Maybe it was the early blue Monday going on, right?
Okay.
But I got a message from an old friend of mine that I haven't spoke to in years and years and years, but that she's, you know, that she really enjoys praying for us.
Oh, wow.
And she enjoys praying for the staff at Bancroft. And I thought, that's what I needed today.
Yep.
You know, that's what I needed.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, just to know that people are praying for you.
Yep.
You know, so you surround yourself with people that are going to support you, pray for you, check back in on you. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's what it's about.
that's the value of having that support in that community, right?
Don't do this alone.
Oh, goodness.
You can't do this alone. You can't do this alone.
No.
You can't do this alone.
No. And you need people around you who not only will pray
Yeah.
about those things with you, but who will help keep keep things in the proper perspective,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Help you see things for what they truly are, you know? And sometimes you're going to need people who just come up there and just kick you in the butt and just say, hey, that's enough.
Yeah.
You
Grow
know,
up.
don't worry about this.
Yeah.
You're not in control of it anyways. So, you know,
And two,
man up and let's go.
You know, there's going to be people that you could find in your support team that have gone through this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, boy, that's a help to know that, hey, I'm not the only one that's gone through this.
Yeah.
I know personally that so and so has been through this.
Yeah.
And the Lord provided, or the Lord took care of, or
You know, when we're talking about anxiety and stress and worry and depression and all those types of things, like we said at the very beginning, it's an epidemic.
Yeah.
It is a problem in our society. And it's not just a problem in our society. It's a problem in our churches.
Yeah.
It's a problem in our households.
Yes, our
it's
families,
a problem
yeah.
in our own personal lives. You know, like this is a continual struggle that we're seeing continually increase.
Yeah. And it's
so-
just getting worse.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like when we see this stuff in our society or in our own personal lives, right? I guess our challenge simply would just be to stop and consider the ravens.
Yeah. Oh,
You
that
know?
was good. Yeah.
Stop and consider
Really.
the ravens. You know, because God is saying, just trust me.
Yeah.
You know, I've got this. I care for you. So cast all your anxieties on me. Pray about these things all the time, because in doing so, you're actually calling out to the one who's in control of all of it and can actually fix it. You know, right? And then surround yourself with some people who can encourage you to continue to do that on a regular basis.
It's back to that. Are you not more important than the birds,
Yeah.
than the ravens, than the lilies in the field? Are we not more important? He's created all, but are we not more important than them? He takes care of them. He's going to take care of us.
Yep.